No, the one thing I can't see how the volume's going on that, but well, we're not recording now anyway, so
Yeah,
um,
let's. Well, let's.
say say
Yeah,
hit record.
let's. Yeah, fuck it.
All right, gotcha. Hold on a second. Oop,
I'm recording. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Talk.
oop,
Oh, levels are
oop.
good. Levels are good.
Yep, yep, yep.
Hold on a second.
Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, we're good.
All right, hold on one second on my end. Just drop something. And boom, boom. Let's see. Here. Hold on. All right, I think we're good to go over here.
Yeah, let me see that. Can I see the levels? Can I see the light blinking?
Let me get it. I got you. Yep.
No, 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 no. I was just wondering if I could see it from there.
Can you? Yeah. I mean, can you see?
Yeah.
Damn, those are two ugly bastards.
So yeah, so it's no, it's all good as long as there, bam. So as long as it's going and it's recording and you got adequate level, then we're good.
I think we're good. The one thing I can't see, I'm just gonna talk like close to the mic, like I try to make sure it's not peaking, and yeah, I think we're good. I think we're all right now.
Yeah, even if it peaks, I mean, whatever. I mean,
It is what it is.
as long as it's not too much, it will still work.
Let's try to
Good.
stop this thing from moving around a little bit, and all right, yeah, it looks like we're good to go.
What kind of mic is that right there?
You know what? I'm not even sure. This is something I got a little while back. I got this low budget home setup. I'm not really too technical a guy. I'm not like the best engineer, but I do some recording out of here. It was a female artist I was producing for a while, and we did some vocal tracks over here. I did the White Owl stuff with this mic, and even recorded some of the White Trash shit with this mic. So it's coming handy. Now I'm doing this for you guys, so it's coming handy. It's a good purchase for me.
So this, I guess, does it capture stuff when you turn away from it, or when you talk right into it? What does it do?
Let me see how this works. It looks like I think it's like a condenser mic. I'm pretty sure. I'll try to stay just like this if it's cool,
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so I'm just gonna start it. I'm gonna just go right into this
go
shit.
for it. All right.
All right, let me pull up my notes, and yeah, we'll just record it. We're just gonna go into it, and then afterwards, yeah, just give me shoot me the MP3 just like we've been doing, and then I'll mix it all together, and it'll sound like we're all in the same room. All right.
Perfect. And let me just let me try to kick back the volume over here. Does that affect anything?
Hold on 1 second. What are you talking about? What's
I had a little room volume going on, like the Pro Tools is going through my speaker, so I just killed that because you want that dead, so there's no whatever it is. So now it's just my voice going into the recording with in the headphones. So I think I had the speakers on a little bit over here.
Okay, cool.
All right, now they're dead.
All right, ready?
Yeah, let's do this.
Boom! And just like that, it's episode 26 of Dying Scene Radio. I'm your host, Bobby Pickles. My co-host, Bob Noxious, is off this week. He's getting his studio reorganized. However, it won't be just me bringing you all the latest music and headlines and punk rock world as reported by DyingScene.com. I did have a little help from my business associate over here, Tone Loki, this week. The two of us interviewed Dean, the frontman of the New York hardcore act No Redeeming Social Value, who are sometimes referred to as the poor man's Murphy's Law. He actually said that. That was his quote. But anyway, while Bob is on his 1 week hiatus, Tone Loki has been a tremendous help to me. And speaking of white trash, you, Tony.
That would be you, Bobby.
We did manage to bring in a guest host to help us out this week as well. Everybody say hello to Aaron Collins, a.k.a. White Owl, bassist for the New York. I'm going to call you Funk Punk.
That's a good way to describe it. I like that. Funk punk.
White trash. And Aaron, you're in a lot of different other things, though. You're in all kinds of different bands. And
I'm a man of many projects, but White Trash is definitely my home base. That's where I got my musical start, and that's where I made my bones as a youngster at. And I probably wouldn't have started playing with many of the punk hardcore bands that I ended up playing with if it wasn't for my time and the little notoriety I got from playing with White Trash. But I've always been a punk guy at heart, and I've always been kind of DIY, do-it-yourself dude. So I think my heart, that's why I kind of connect well with the punk and the hardcore scene.
Absolutely. White Trash was a funk rock band, big in the 90s. You guys had a video on MTV, and right? I mean, I labeled you guys a funk punk act. I mean, how would you classify the music you guys put out?
I would say that's perfect description. Funk punk. We had a little bit of R&B influence. We have a horn section called the Badass Brass that basically we all grew up. We were in the same neighborhood in Queens together. We went to high school, most of us together. And that was kind of like a little, besides, being funk punk and, a little bit more rock and roll probably than punk. We had these horn players, so that kind of gave us a little bit of a different sound, a different edge, and like a band in like the 80s, 90s. A lot of other bands kind of came out after that kind of infused that stuff, like, that went on to much more success than we did, such as No Doubt and, a few of those other bands like, we were kind of like a poor man's Fishbone in a way. A lot of people would describe us as something like that, a white boy Fishbone. But that's probably where we lie closest to. We got labeled with the hair metal category, but our sound was never really like that. We kind of got lumped into that scene, unfortunately. I don't think any of us really wanted to be, but that's where we kind of got lumped into.
Well, I love the WT New York Mets logo. That's pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome.
Hell yeah!
Thank you. I believe that was designed by a singer, Dave Alvin. And as you can see, we're all from Queens. We're all Mets fans. I'm rocking my Mets gear right now, if you can see. But keeping it real. And this is the closest we got to a playoff push in about like 20 years. So actually a little excited about the Mets these days for the first time in a while.
This guy, he's a diehard Yankees fan.
I know.
Every night he watches the Yankees.
By the way, I gotta say, if I'm not mistaken, it looks like Loki shaved his mohawk off. No?
Yes, it did.
Yeah. You know what? I just brought my back a little bit. I was gonna say, I think we're the two guys with the most busted mohawks in punk rock and hardcore.
Mine's coming back. Don't worry.
Yeah, me too.
For the barbecue.
I just brought mine back. Me too. There's a couple of things coming up. I figured let me bring it back. Even though I got ragged on it by everybody in that punk rock scene.
Loki, because he basically breaks it out during winter time.
Yeah.
And he's a
winter hawk.
Yeah, and you can attest to this, right? White Owl, like what kind of ridiculous mohawk do you put on your head?
It's basically a Mr. T mohawk with a minor variation on it.
Well,
he does like the Road Warrior or whatever.
Road Warrior Animal.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm one of the few fans of it, I must say, because I kind of rock something like that, once in a while myself. Sometimes it just gets out of hand, but I have to admit, like, I'm just happy to grow hair where I could grow hair these days. So it's more about that than anything else.
So, hey man, tell me about White Owl. Tell me about the name White Owl. Everybody. I have a nom de plume, man. I go by Bobby Pickles, Robert Picarillo. I go by Bobby Pickles.
No doubt about it.
My co-host Bob Noxious. This guy Tone Loki. What about White Owl? Tell me about that. How'd you get that name?
White Owl came back. Basically when I started doing my alter ego hip hop extravaganza, which even going back to the days of White Trash, I kind of grew up a fan of metal, punk, and hip hop, like really all music in general. Like I listened to everything. So, but I was always a hip hop fan. Like back in kind of grew up on it in the mid '80s to late '80s. But when hip hop was more hip hop than it is nowadays, more or less. But that name just came from mostly from the cigars, the blunts, the pot smoking blunts, and so that was like.
Speaking of which,
perfect timing. Perfect timing. If I knew we were gonna be equipped like that, I would have got my shit ready.
Yeah, man. Oh, you're not prepared?
I can be in a matter of seconds, but I don't know how far you want me to get away from the mic right now. I'll keep it chill right now. I've smoked enough for like 5 lifetimes, so I'm good. But
it's legal. It's legal over here out in Connecticut, and I know that you're out in Queens, so it's not exactly.
I'm actually in Brooklyn these days. I'm from Queens originally, but I'm in Brooklyn these days. But yeah, you know what? It should be legal everywhere. That's for sure.
Whereabouts in Brooklyn? Whereabouts? I used to live in Crown Heights.
I'm in Brighton Beach at the moment. I've lived in Sunset.
All the way down there.
Yeah, I'm on like the tip of Brooklyn, south part of Brooklyn.
Sunset Park. You used to live.
Sunset Park was when I first moved out of Queens. I lived in Sunset Park for about 6 years, and I gotta admit, I love them both. Say it again.
Don't you mean Gunset?
Yeah, Gunset Sparks. Where the Gunset Sparks from the building and parks, and the pilots under the Gowanus are having hookers and knots.
Yeah. So you like we were just talking about. You've been, you put out a lot of different musical variations and genres. You played, but you played bass in a lot of bands, man, including White Trash, Scarhead,
Yep.
Murphy's Law too, right? A little bit.
I'm actually going to be filling in a couple of upcoming shows. One which is like pretty much an honor for me to do. It's August 12th in Bowery Electric. It's Jimmy's 50th birthday, and so that for me, when he asked me to do that, it was it was an honor for me to do it. It's a pleasure for me to be there to represent. He's a hardcore punk rock icon, and I love him. He's a brother and a fan. Basically a great friend of mine. So I love him to death. And then I believe I'm playing the Punk Rock Barbecue on the 22nd also with them, which should be a blast.
And we're gonna be there, right?
Yes, we are gonna be there.
That's great to hear. That's great to hear. I believe No Redeeming Social Value is also playing, which I just found out. So I'm glad to hear about that. I love those guys, and yeah, so that should be a blast. And the days with Scarhead, I filled in a show back in I guess April in Jersey. There was a thing called the Toxic Fest, but Isaac is doing more Crown of Thorns stuff these days, and his new band Wilding Incident. So I don't think he's doing as much Scarhead stuff, but I'm always, I guess an extended member of the family, and Isaac is probably the one I give most credit for pretty much all credit for bringing me into the hardcore punk rock scene in the first place. We met playing basketball out in Queens in like the early '90s, and we turned out we both hit it off on music wise. So next thing you knew, I was playing in a band with him a couple of years later.
Man, what's DMS?
Well, that's a very broad-based question, but to me, I can tell you what it means to me. To me, it is a group of friends that kind of grew up playing music together and formed a natural bond because of the punk rock hardcore scene and music scene in general, hip hop artists, and we all kind of rock together. I was in the mix mostly diehard in like the early '90s, actually mid '90s, I would say. And to me, they're all brothers, great friends, love the guys to death. I'm a little bit more out of the mix these days, but I'm a big supporter of all the bands involved and more importantly all the people involved. It's just a great group of dudes, and they're all brothers and family to me. So what
does it stand for?
There's many interpretations. Drugs, music, sex is one of them. Doc Martin Skins, Doc Martin Stomp is another one. Demonstrating my style, which Madball made famous on the records. But you know what? Whatever acronym you put to it, it's more about a brotherhood of musical friends and people that have kind of like lived and died on the music scene and kind of lifers on the music scene that pick each other up when times are down. And to me, it's a brotherhood.
Sounds good, man. How about some news? You're gonna be with us all night long. We're gonna report the news and we're gonna play some music here, and we're gonna bring everybody along and tell everybody what's been happening in the punk rock world over the last week. So we have plenty of time to discuss stuff. Let me get right into a news story. 2 weeks ago, Bob and I spoke with former Sum 41 guitarist Dave Brownsound Batch, and this week we find Brownsound in the news. So from White Owl to Brownsound. How about that, huh? Anyway, nearly a decade after parting ways with the band, guitarist Dave Brownsound Baksh is officially rejoining Sum 41. I don't think Sum 41 is part of DMS.
No.
but the news broke last weekend when Baksh joined the band on stage at the Alternative Press Music Awards to play a handful of their classics, including In Too Deep and Fat Lip. Shortly after, he confirmed that it wasn't just a one-off performance, and he would be rejoining the band full-time, posting the following to his Instagram page. Yes, y'all, I'm back at Sum 41. Thanks to all the crew, band, and fans for making me feel so welcome. Thanks at Blink Someday 41 for the rad shot. I feel so thankful. Hashtag Sum 41. Hashtag Scumfucks. Hashtag APMAS. Hashtag family. To watch the band's full APMA's performance, you can check out the video on DyingScene.com. Daryl McDaniels, a.k.a. DMC, there's another acronym, also joined the band for some Run DMC covers, but I'm pretty certain that was a one-off performance.
I'm with you. Sorry about that.
It's all good. But then after all that, the band was asked via their Facebook page if Baksh had actually rejoined Sum 41 on a permanent basis and will appear on their long-awaited new album. The response was that all options are open right now, and there's no yes or no answer to that. So I don't know. Maybe it was the Scumfucks hashtag on the Instagram post that made the band start reconsidering Brownsound's permanent involvement. I don't know, man. What say you, White Owl? What are your thoughts on original lineups getting back together, man?
Well, I'm always a fan of seeing an original lineup of any group that I'm interested in. I'm a fan of. You know, it's ideally, to me, that kind of hits home a lot because White Trash is based on that, and you know, basically one of the things that has me back doing it's mostly all the original members involved with it, which is kind of ironic, except for my brother. My brother was the original guitar player, and he's not involved with this. So, you know, to me, it's a very something that personally, you know, I can attest to. Like, you know, I love being a part of and seeing other bands with the original lineups. Although there's a few bands that I must say make it happen with different members, and you know, for the most part, I would say mostly not. But there's a handful that do. Fishbone, I'm a big fan of the group Fishbone, and that's one of the ones that sticks out to me. It's only a couple of original members, but they still you know, put on a great live show, kick-ass live show, and you know that's great. Jimmy Murphy's Law is another one. He's the only original member of the band. He's had about 10,000 members coming in ahead of the band since the mid '80s. But you know, he's another one. It's, you know, basically you come to see Jimmy put on a show, and as long as the music holds up behind it, it's pretty much you know, worth the price of admission. You know.
Absolutely. You know, we can go on and on about that. I mean, I just saw Screeching Weasel over the weekend, and fuck, man. God damn it. Here, go get the phone. Go get the phone. Hold on a second.
Sorry, same shit just happened to me.
Let's get back right into that. Just hang it up or something. Oh yeah, pop that out. That's smart.
That's what just happened to me, by the way. I turned it off. You got the audio on it.
All right, so what was I going to say? I just saw Screeching Weasel over the weekend, man. Ben Weasel is the only, you know, member. It's usually like that. It's like one guy who's like the driving force and vision behind it, and then
no doubt.
Life happens and people leave, and you got to keep the dream going, man. So
yeah, no doubt about it. You know, that's pretty much. It's funny that you bring that up because that's exactly where I'm at with the band White Trash. You know, we just put out our first, you know, album in about like 5 years. Band was broken up for over 10 years. We've been on a crazy musical journey. We all went to like high school together. I've been playing in the band, you know, since I was 15 years old. And so it goes back a long way. You know, it's about 30 years of my life now. So
let's get into a little music here, man. This is usually Bob's job, but I'll give it a whirl.
No doubt.
This is a track up the brand spanking new White Trash album entitled Suburban Purgatory. You can find it on Reverb Nation. And where else can you find the new record?
Well, that's another good question. The physical copies and the downloads will be available sometime next week. We had a little stall with the mass.
Oh, shit. Did we lose him?
So, are you with me?
Yeah, I'm still with you. Hey, just so you know, if we get cut off,
Yep.
just go right back in and then go back in, log right back into the thing. I'm just gonna keep everything going. You just hit. You keep the MP3 running. You know, just keep everything running.
All right, fair enough. So just go log in through Facebook if I lose you again, or no?
Yeah, just go click that same link. Click that same link again.
Gotcha. All right. So yeah. So as I was saying quickly, as far as the CDs, they'll be available, physical copies and downloads next week on two places. One place is whitetrashuniverse.com, and the other one that's basically the home base for everything White Trash. You can link up to our Facebook page. You know, pretty much anything White Trash, prior videos, prior albums, and then and like I said, the new stuff will be available next week. And then my website, my personal production company, which kind of encompasses everything musical I do, from White Trash to Butterbrain to, like, you know, even like Scarhead stuff. So all that stuff also will be available on GothamGoldMusic.com.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, this is White Trash with their new track, I Might Lie, on Dying Scene Radio.
Thanks, bro.
So wait, so I hear a little bit of, do I hear my voice coming back at all? No?
It shouldn't be popping back now through the computer at all.
All right, cool. So all right, we're gonna roll right on. You know, that's just one segment. We're gonna try to shorten up the segments a little bit.
I got you. Yep.
But we have 5 altogether.
Should I should just keep it running, the MP3, right? Let's
just
keep it
just keep it running. Ready?
All right. Yep.
All right, so I'm gonna come back. Okay. Those were the Swedish melodic punks Misconduct, who have just released a new music video for that track right there, Blood on My Hands, featuring Roger Murray of Agnostic Front. You can check it out on DyingScene.com. The song is the 6th single off their September 2013 album of the same name, Blood on Our Hands. So the track isn't exactly new, but the video is. And since Mr. Murray was featured in the song and video, and since he's such a staple in the New York hardcore community, I decided to include it on the playlist this week. So, yo, White Owl, have you ever worked with any of those guys at Agnostic Front?
Not directly, but good friends of them, and all the guys, great group of guys. Actually, that's not true. Yeah, I played with Pokey for a while in Murphy's Law. Pokey, who's the current drummer of Agnostic Front, and on some early Scarhead stuff on the Kings of Crime record, Roger Murray did some guest vocals on a couple of the Scarhead songs, but not that's about as far as it goes. We weren't in the same room at the same time, but nothing but respect for those guys. They're you know, great guys, and you know, punk rock lifers.
Well, yeah, and another staple act of the New York hardcore community is Murphy's Law, and you're just bringing up that you played in you played Murphy's Law. What exactly? Bring me up to the speed with your involvement in that outfit, man, in Murphy's Law.
Well, basically, I was in the band, a permanent member from, I would say, like 98 to about 2001, somewhere around there. And I actually, you know, did some playing and writing for the Party's Over record, which is the last full-length record that they put out. I believe the last, like, actual LP, whatever you want to call it, that they put out. So that was, although you don't see my face on the cover, I had left the band before the CD came out. But basically, yeah, you know, I've been an admirer of the band since I was a kid, and when White Trash broke up in the mid '90s, early '90s, I played with Scarhead for a little bit, and basically, you know, was always a fan. Murphy's Law is probably a little more musically, like, up my alley, bass playing wise, and you know, as far as kind of where I musically fit more. So at some point we just connected, and you know, Jimmy asked me to join the band, and you know, played with the band for 3 years. As you said earlier, sometimes, you know, it's time to move on and move in different directions, and I was at a different point in my life at that time. But you know, I've always kind of kept the door open to, if he's ever in a pickle, he needs you know, a guy to play bass. I'm always, you know, ready to drop anything and fill in, you know, to help, to play with the band. I love playing with the band. You know, it's one of the best live acts you could ever be part of. And basically, so yeah, like I said, I've kept that door open, and for the last 4 or 5 years, I've done a bunch of fill-in stuff. We did a Japan tour in November of 2014. That was like the longest stint I did for a while with him, and then I filled in a few shows.
I saw some of that. I think you have the live video online, right? Or is that from 2000?
No, I think I just saw that recently. That was from a few years before. That's a great video shot too. It's from playing like a big stadium or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
No, I wasn't. We were playing small ass clubs, no big stadiums. But I actually prefer that. But although it would have been fun to play a giant venue here and there. Yeah, that wasn't me. Different guy.
Awesome, man. How about some news? Let me do a little bit of news.
Sure.
Blink 182 bassist Mark Hoppus has apparently confirmed that Matt Skiba from Alkaline Trio is an official member of the band, replacing their original guitarist, singer Tom DeLonge, who left the band last January. There does not seem to be much more information right now, but according to Hoppus, the new lineup will be entering the studio next month to record some new material. Blink 182 last self-released an EP entitled Dogs Eating Dogs in December 2012 after parting ways with Interscope Records. Their later studio album, Neighborhoods, was released back in 2011. So there you go right there. That's another case of somebody moving on, and those guys were together forever, the three of them, and one's gone, and now they're bringing in a new guy from Alkaline Trio, and now they're going to record. So
and Travis is DMS, is he not, Aaron?
Who is that, Travis?
Travis Barker from Blink.
I don't think he's an official member of DMS. I would have to say no, but he's a friend and a good friend and acquaintance.
So he's not a friend of ours, but he's right. He's but what was it like? So if you're just connected, right? You're just like an associate, right?
Yeah,
he's an associate. And he's not a friend of ours.
You know what? I've kind of been like disassociated from the scene for a minute. So maybe he is, and I don't know. But as far as I don't know. But you know what? He's done a lot for a lot of the artists. Specifically, Izak can help with like some Danny Diablo stuff, and I believe not Travis, but the Tim from Rancid put out a bunch of. Izak Danny Diablo stuff through Hellcat Records years back. So there's a definite connection and link there with those dudes. And, I was skeptical of the music when I first started listening, just, because it was so hip and popular, I guess you could say. But I think Rancid is an amazing group. I'm actually a fan of Rancid. And even the Transplant stuff. And Travis Barker gets hated on a little bit too, but I'm a fan of all his stuff. I forgot the reggae thing he did with that dude, White Wolf, maybe the dude's name was. I forget. He had a little reggae compilation. But yeah, those dudes are lifers. They put out great stuff, and they don't stop putting out stuff. So I have nothing but respect for all those cats.
Awesome, man. Did this last record that you just recorded, just like Blink 182, the last record they did was self-released. So they parted ways with Interscope Records. Do you guys do you have a label? I mean, what do you think? Do you release this independently?
That's a very good question. Basically,
and what do labels even do for you these days? To be honest with you, because you can do whatever you want with the internet. You can increasingly do a lot more. I don't know. Anyway,
that's a great question. That's pretty much where we're at. Basically, one of my big parts of the project is because I have a production company. We put out the last CD, which is called 3D Monkeys in Space. That was put out in 2009, and there you go, 3D Monkeys in Space, right there. And then the next one was Suburban Purgatory, which we're putting out. So basically, we put everything out through my production company, which is Gotham Gold Music, and the other guys in the group, basically allow me to do that and support me doing that. And so yeah, we're basically doing it, DIY these days, DIY. Sorry, DIY. DIY these days. And we're kind of, be honest with you, we're kind of learning on the fly. This whole last record, we did on our own. It took a long time to finish from start to end, but basically we did it on our own music programs. A bunch of the dudes in the group had Pro Tools or Logic. a few of the guys are in different states, so we actually like flew music back and forth. You know, literally our drummer, like, we rehearsed a few times, got the arrangements down. The drummer sent us drum tracks, which because he's such a talented and awesome dude, he and able, you know, he's a little bit of a sound engineer also, and he's able to like mic his own sounds and send them out. So basically, he sent us drum files and said, "Here you go, you know, like do the rest, guys." And we did. We took it from there. You know, between him, our sax player, one of the guys in the band, the sax player, ended up mixing the record. He also works in a jingle studio. The singer, Dave, basically, you know, compiled everything. He's got Logic at home, so he kind of stayed on top of everything, so we didn't lose files and all that shit. And it was a mission. I actually at times was the naysayer. I was the dude that was kind of like, let's just fucking pay money, go to a studio, bang these songs out, and let's, you know, get fucking finished with this thing already. You know, like that's kind of how I like to operate. I like to like get in the moment, you know, like, you know, cut everything off for 2 weeks and just grind it out and be done with it, and then, you know, have somebody mix it that we trust, and you know, pick a dude that we all agree on, all that kind of shit. But it didn't work out like that, and we did it basically on the cheap, you know, with a low budget. We basically, you know, we're coming out of our own pockets for everything, so we managed to do everything. Actually, Glenn from No Redeeming Social Value, who also is a sound engineer, we record the only thing we went outside of our little circle with was that we did some guitar tracks one weekend at Glenn's place, at Glenn's studio. So besides him, we pretty much did it on our own. It was took a lot longer than I would have liked, but I think the final product came out true to the sound of the band. And you know, basically, well, I'm kind of, you know, pretty happy with the way it turned out. So besides taking a little while, you know, we're happy with it. What we do now with it, we're not too sure. We're putting it out, you know, independently on my production, you know, through my production company. Last time we did that, basically sold CDs like out of my apartment. Just you know, went to the post office, took some orders online, and did it through PayPal and shit like that. And you know, I kind of, you know, it's like a second job in a way, but it's, you know, I wish it would become more of a full-time job, but for me, it's fun. I like being involved like that. I like doing it ourselves. So, you know.
Well, so like you bring up an interesting point, though, that you're talking about, you know, the money involved with making these things.
Yep.
And, I just want to mention another news story, and talking about Social Distortion. Frontman Mike Ness, he recently spoke with AZ Central about the status of their long-awaited follow-up to 2011's Hard Times and Nursery Rhymes, and I mentioned that he wants Rick Rubin to produce it because of his production on Tom Petty's 1994 album Wildflowers. So, you know, he says actually the production value on that Wildflowers record is just amazing. It's such a broad spectrum of sounds and tones. Obviously, that was still in the era of analog. I did that on the last record, but it cost me 3 times as much to record it analog. But since then, I have worked with people who have showed me that you can use Pro Tools and still achieve a pretty accurate thing, but you have to be careful. It's a slippery slope. So that's what he says. And then also Ness, he also recently gave Rolling Stone an update on the band's long-awaited new album as well, stating that he has been writing a lot of songs, and the band will begin work on the album after the upcoming U.S. tour, which celebrates the 25th anniversary of their 1990 classic self-titled album. So those guys just like I said, man, they're talking about the quality of the sound with analog and how it costs so much money to record like that, and how you can do it with Pro Tools.
Sure, yeah.
Kinda, you know. So I mean, what do you think about that?
Also, another good question. You're hitting all the nails on the head right now. You know what? Basically, I was a long time supporter of analog. I'm, I guess, an old school guy. And back in the days, you know, we had when White Trash was a young band, we were signed to Elektra Records. We had a big budget. We had, you know, recorded in like, you know, big, well-known studios, analog style. You know, that's how the only way it was done back then. And even up to the last Murphy's Law record, The Party's Over, that was recorded analog. And that was in an era where everybody was switching to Pro Tools. So Jimmy, which I respect, you know, kept it old school, kept it, you know, punk, and said, no, we're going to record to tape, which, you know, not a lot of people do. nowadays. It was also through, a label involved, so it was a little different. We just, we didn't have that option these days anymore. But I tend to believe, I'm not a sound engineer, but I've done a lot of production, and I think I have a decent ear for that kind of stuff. And I would say, man, like nowadays, you could really capture that same vibe on Pro Tools, or I don't really work with Logic that much, besides like what the other guys did with this record. But I think it's more about how creative you get with it yourself. Like what sounds can you bring in, and nowadays it's all about like the plugins with these recordings. So you can simulate a lot of this stuff. Some of the shit sounds simulated, doesn't sound the same, and some of it, if you manipulate it the right way, it can. Or you could find a new kind of organic sound, through Pro Tools. So
there's good and there's bad.
There's good and there's bad for both, I would say. I'm kind of turning to the new revolution. I would say I'm losing the die-hard, like it's got to be done analog. Everything's got to be old school. I especially after doing this recording this way with White Trash, I would say that I'm kind of much more open to the world of recording in Pro Tools and doing it digitally.
Yeah, let's get into some music. All right. So I think we've been. You know what? Actually, let me say one more news story, and then we're gonna do music. But I can shoot the
shit all night, man. So I'm all good.
All right, yeah. I just try to. You know what? Fuck it, man. I gotta stop thinking about that. But I just try to keep it at like a decent length for the listeners. Like an hour. We usually actually top out, honestly, like around an hour and a half after you put the music in and everything like that.
If it's a good show, they'll listen to it.
Yeah. It's cool. Who gives a shit? So, but anyway, in the news, Oi Group, Oxley's Midnight Runners, which consists of Lars Fredriksson of Rancid. You talked about Rancid before. Mike of the Fatskins, Dave of 90 Proof and Boot Party, and Jesus of the Warlords. I don't know, or that's Jesus. I got no fucking clue. But are currently in the studio recording the third EP, which will be released through Oi the Boat Records. Will you? We'll keep you updated as more details emerge. Do you like Oi, Aaron? What are your thoughts about Oi?
I'm not really fit to comment on Oi. I didn't grow up listening to
ska, Oi. You like ska,
yeah,
right?
I definitely do, and I you know what, the Oi stuff I hear, I'm a fan of, but I didn't grow up with it. I don't know like artists like that. Ska artists I do know more about and listen to on a regular basis. But yeah, I'm that kind of music. You play ska Oi on a sunny day at the beach and this time of year and fucking crack a beer open and fucking smoke a doob and how can life be wrong? So, yeah, I'm all for that.
Yeah, that sounds like Jamaica. I mean,
Yeah, man.
Or Florida, where I'm from. Florida, Anyway, all right. Well, we've got a ska song right here, and it doesn't suck at all, despite its name. It comes to you from the fine folks over at Open Ended Films and associated with Dang Records. They've just released a free digital version of a Fat Comp, a fan-made tribute to Fat Records. And it's available for download on DionScene.com. Features covers by Armchair Martian, Much the Same, Mike Urge, and Scotty Sandwich. The Shell Corporation, Sick Waiting, The Sheds, DC Fallout, Car Bomb, and many more. A 12-inch double disc vinyl of the comp is available only as a perk for contributing to the Fat Rec Indiegogo, which ends on July 31st, and it will not be available for public sale. The track right here, off the comp, was originally performed by Propagandhi. This is Big D and the Kids Table with Ska Sucks on Dying Scene Radio. Okay. So we'll come back out of that. We don't actually listen to the songs. I'm going to throw them all in afterwards.
Yeah. I figured that much. Right. I kind of figured that out.
All right, here we go. Ready?
I got a Rick Rubin story if you want. I got a.
Okay.
All right. So save it. All right.
No, hold that thought. We'll go right into it. Ready? That track right there is called New Abolition by Great Collapse. It's a punk band started by Strike Anywhere singer Thomas Burnett with members of Rise Against, Set Your Goals, and Comeback Kid. Can a supergroup get more stacked? The single comes off the band's debut full-length Holy War, which is set to drop October 2nd. And to support it, they have also announced a European tour with Boy Sets Fire, Silverstein, Refused, Rise Against, Matt Davies, and Anti-Intellectual, just like Tone Loki. The dates of which can be found on DyingScene.com. In related news, Canadian hardcore punk veterans Comeback Kid and Long Island hardcore act Stray From the Path have announced plans to tour the U.S. and Canada this fall. Check out the list of dates and locations on Dying Scene. They'll be all over the North American continent with standout performances at the Orpheum in Tampa, Florida on October 13th and the Gramercy Theater in New York, New York on October 24th. So anyway, hey, you were going to tell us a Rick Rubin story. Is that right?
Yes.
Tell it away.
All right. There was a time, back when White Trash was signed to a major label, and we were signed to Elektra Records, and we had a little buzz going on. Rick Rubin was enlisted to possibly produce the White Trash album. So basically, we kind of fucked that all up. But we went out to dinner with him again, I was a teenager.
Wait, why? Why? Why was it all fucked up?
Well, I'm going to tell you the story now. We had a dinner set up with them back in L.A. and Hollywood at the Rainbow Room, which was I think it's still like a hot spot nowadays. But basically, he was brought there to speak to us about maybe doing the recording. I think it was in between. He had just finished doing a Slayer record, and it was about to do the Red Hot Chili Peppers Blood Sugar Sex Magic record. So he he was basically a little cocky with it. He was kind of I think we were waiting there for about an hour or two before he got there. So we had started throwing down a couple of beers, and next thing you know, we were kind of shit faced by the time he got there. So he was kind of what makes you guys special? Why should I produce you guys? Why should I not do one of these other bands? And our singer Dave at the time kind of was like, you know what, go fuck yourself. And we were all drunk, yeah, fuck this guy. Looking probably one of our many career suicides that we did back. We were young kids. We were fucking beer drinking, pot smoking, wild little kids, and we were kind of fuck everybody. Fuck the our management, fuck Elektra Records. We'll be doing this for years. Little did we know that no one was really going to be paying us to do this, like we were at the time. So, we had it good. We were cocky, bratty little kids, but basically, that's one of our many fuck-ups. We also fucked up a possible tour opening up for the Red Hot Chili Peppers by bad-mouthing Dweezil Zappa. We had an opening gig for Dweezil Zappa at the Cat Club. This is right before our album was just about to come out or right after it came out. And it was a showcase, to see how the band would operate on tour, this and that. And, the band always sounded great. We always, put on a great live performance, so that was never an issue. But, like I said, we like to drink and kind of get shit-faced before we played. And Dave, our singer, managed to we were opening for Dweezil Zappa, and as soon as we got on stage, I think a couple of Dweezil Zappa fans, were booing us, where's Dweezil? So he just, went on a rant about how much Dweezil Zappa sucked, and he wasn't the guy that had any talent in the family. And, the fans were throwing, it was like an old school, bad movie. They were throwing tomatoes and fucking, beers at us and shit. And, a lot of dudes in the band kind of we ended up at the time, breaking up from the singer Dave for a long time because, he was, he did do a lot of things that kind of shot the band in the foot.
Sabotage you guys.
Yeah, but I was, we grew up together, and he's my main, co-collaborator on the new White Trash stuff. It's basically, me and him that kind of wrote most of the material. And I would say even back in those days, I got a kick out of it, and it's kind of what made us, who we were, and it kind of, made a little name out of it, from being like that. So you can't, you got to be yourself one way or the other. So if we did shoot ourselves in the foot with some shit like that, fuck it, we always stay true to ourselves. So we can at least look in the mirror and say, hey, you know what? We never fucking bowed down to our management or a record company or anything like that. Didn't really help our career as much, but we have our pride.
Check out some of this news right here. I think it has to do with this actually. When it rains, it pours. It certainly pours for a band called The Slaves. This band, according to a series of posts on the band's Facebook page, they were recently kicked off the 2015 Vans Warped Tour. Actually, it has now been reported that they were voted off the tour due to allegedly bullying and sexual harassment of a female crew member and for dumping toxic sewage out of their tour bus. Not sure if that's literal or metaphorical, but I guess it could be both. Word on the street is this band has also been dumped by their agent, and they've been dumped by their tour they were planning to embark on this coming fall. Oh, and somewhere along the line, guitar player Alex Lyman got stabbed, oddly enough. But hey, you never did it. You listen. It was
like an event per week for those guys.
It was just an interesting thing. We were just talking. We were just talking about all this self-sabotage stuff that was going on. Listen, one of these.
That's the extreme. Yeah. I guess I should have complained. I don't have it that bad. These guys were talking about self-sabotage. Jesus. We had a guy on the Murphy's Law tour in Europe, like back in I'd say like 99, 2000, whose job it was. Well, it wasn't his only job, but one of his many duties. Don't mind the pun. Was to clean out the fucking shitter on the tour bus. We had a little crapper that we brought with us. So basically, as you're rolling on a, it wasn't even like a tour bus. It was like a little. It's like a bread truck. We were touring in like some fucking like bread truck type thing, a European bread truck, but looked like a UPS thing or something. But yeah, we had like a portable toilet basically. And this poor guy, man, the roadie we brought with us, the guy's name is Surfer Dave. Surfer Dave, if you're out there, I wish you the best. I haven't seen you in about 20 years, but that guy had to literally, dump the shit every night, dump our shit.
So you can't just go and dump it in the middle of. And like that's probably what they do.
I think you can, but you're not supposed to. I don't know. But you know what? I bowed out of any kind of shit duties or shit patrol. So whatever happened, whatever he dumped it, I don't know. My lips are sealed on where the shit was dumped.
Right. Let me do one more news story, and then we'll get back into some music. Legendary UK punks, The Addicts, have announced a run of U.S. tour dates that will take place this fall. Check out the full list of dates and locations on Dying Scene, a couple Northeast standout shows, because selfishly, that's what I'm concerned with. September 17th, Stage 48 in New York, New York. September 18th, Toad's Place out in New Haven, Connecticut, which isn't that far from us, Loki, right?
Not at all.
And then September 19th, The Chance in Poughkeepsie, New York.
Great venue. Brings back memories. Hey, Al, were you at the Sub-Zero show years ago when Lou DiBella did the backflip off the balcony there?
No, but I've heard about it. I've heard about that night. Yeah.
He's a great dude, but he's a crazy bastard.
Yeah, definitely. I love Lou. He collaborated on some of the White Owl hip hop stuff. He did a song with me and Richie scammed us, called Bad Habits, and man, he's got the rawest verse. I mean, like Old Dirty Bastard. None of these motherfuckers, like, he's got the fucking down and dirtiest hip-hop verse I've ever heard. And, I love the dude. Yeah, nothing but good things to say about Lou DiBella.
Wait, Lou and I go back, 25 years to high school.
They went to the same high school together.
Oh, did you guys really?
Yeah.
I got nothing but love for the dude. He's another lifer. I know he's, does everything from performing to putting on shows in the area. I know we've done a few, like, Scarhead shows. I think maybe Murphy's Law also, where he's been the guy putting on the show. Like, nothing but love for the dude. He's a crazy bastard. Had some crazy drunken times with the dude, and he's like an old school Italian, Guinea drunk. Gotta love the guy.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh, that sounds fucking great, man. Dude, let's backflip into some new music here, man. This is Brazilian melodic hardcore act Atomic Winter. They're streaming a new track off their upcoming album, Tales of Survival. This is Concrete Squall on Dying Scene Radio. All right. So now a bunch of music just played, okay?
Yeah.
That song played. Also, we listened to Beer Equals Fun by No Redeeming Social Value.
Yeah.
Then we interviewed No Redeeming Social Value. We interviewed Dean.
I saw that clip on YouTube just recently.
All right. Okay, cool. So
I was checking out the show, yeah.
So then Your Boyfriend is a Guido after that, and then we played a Scarhead song. So I'm going to come in right now All right?
Okay.
And I'm going to say all that stuff. So here we go, right?
Can I just double check that I'm recording good over it?
Yeah, double check.
It looks like we're good, yeah.
Cool, man. Okay. Awesome. And that right there was Scarhead with DFF, Drink, Fuck, Fight. Before that, we had Your Boyfriend is a Guido by No Redeeming Social Value. Prior to that was our interview with D Thrilla, frontman of That Wholesome Act. And prior to that, we played another song by them, Beer Equals Fun by NRSV as well.
You play some good music on this show. I got to start listening on the regular. That's all the stuff that's the punk rock and hardcore stuff that I would listen to.
well, you know, I tell you, man, and nothing against Bob. I love Bob. Bob's the music director. This week, I picked the music, and not to say that I would have to play politics too, just like he does. You know, we got to play politics, man. We gotta get. There's a lot of different genres encompassing punk rock, right?
No doubt.
From funk punk to hardcore punk, all that, and everything that's in between, right? So. Anyway, those guys are great, man. They're absolutely hilarious. That dude has they fucking have a chicken as a mascot. They grill up chicken and throw it into the crowd. They do beer baths. I fucking love it, man. Fucking love it.
Well, Jimmy originated the beer bath.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're familiar with No Redeeming Social Value, right?
Yeah. I was just gonna say that there's another connection there because. I know them from, I got closer with them through the punk rock scene, through playing with Murphy's Law and Scarhead. But years back, come to find out that Dean saw, when I was playing with, I think it was Scarhead at the time, he came up to me after the show and said, you know what, I used to go see, he's like, you used to play in the band White Trash, right? I said, yeah. I wasn't sure you knew about that. And because, White Trash is a little bit of a different scene. Like you said, it's more funk, oriented and then punk. So, he said, he used to be like, I used to come down and see you guys as like a little kid, and you guys inspired me with, we used to do a lot. We don't really do much of that anymore. We probably should, but our shtick was we used to like throw money in the crowd. We used to like have dollar bills. We get pizza and White Castles, and we throw White Castle hamburgers out and stuff like that. I don't know why we stopped doing that shit. We should have. I guess we were younger and more drunk and and having more fun back then. But basically, it was pretty cool for Dean to say it. And I was like, damn, it's cool. I appreciate that he respected me, from the White Trash days, and even went out of his way to say like we kind of was somewhat of an influence on their stage show, which at this point is much more involved than we ever got, and their stage show is phenomenal, and they blow the doors off most bands they play with, but just it's a fun show, great show. The stage antics, like you said, chickens, giant beers walking around, dancing girls. It's like that's what a show should be. Like when you go to see a show, that I want to see some shit like that. I don't want to see the same band.
I'm sorry for cutting you off.
I was just gonna say I don't want to see the same bands like chunking the same fucking notes, like, in a generic hardcore fashion, like, band after band after band. Some of these shows like that is just not my thing,
Absolutely. I like the shtick bands, man. And I actually, I'm going to write a list, because those are big time, I guess, for these websites. Everybody likes a list. Everybody likes the 10 this, 10 that, right? Anyway, so the 10 top shtick bands, man. I mean, you think about it, they got Gwar, right? What's that? That's a shtick,
that's
right?
Your shtick. Misfits.
Misfits. You think the Misfits? I have it written down my fucking note, and now but No Redeeming Social Value. I don't know if they would they constitute. You think they have a lot of different what?
It would constitute a shtick.
Yeah, they got a lot of mascots
I would say
dressed up in a suit, running around all over the place. Yeah. That sounds like an awesome show.
And a giant beer running around your show, you're a shtick band.
That sounds like an awesome show.
I like their kind of shtick. I have to say I don't really dig like the Gwar type of shtick. I mean, I was on tour with them a couple of times back in the days with Murphy's Law and Scarhead, and that's a little too much. Like, I don't need giant monsters like pissing blood on my head and shit at a show. Beers being sprayed and dancing girls running around, that works. Being pissed on by a giant giant fucking dinosaur monster, that I'll pass on.
I never got into Gwar, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. You know, and musically, you know, no offense to those guys, but it's just.
No, but there's so many more. There's a band out in Baltimore called Cop Stabber. They're fucking great. Yeah. That's a great name, by the way, Cop Stabber.
Yes.
Green Jello, man. Jesus, they're the big ones. Pigpen, which is Bob Noxious, my co-host. They don ski masks with protruding pig noses. You know. The Jasons, there's an entire band called the Jasons. Everybody wears Jason Voorhees masks, and they're fucking hilarious. They're like, you better listen to Dying Scene, you know, their station IDs like, listen to Dying Scene Radio, and you better listen to Dying Scene Radio or you're fucking dead, you know? And they're from Camp Crystal Lake, New Jersey. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I gotcha.
But like fucking, I guess Kiss, man, even Kiss, like, right? They're
like the ultimate shtick band.
Yeah.
Well, like I was telling Loki before. I mean, like I shtick bands I like, or like, you know, like No Redeeming, you know, the Misfits to extent, but the other shit like War, like fucking like giant dinosaurs pissing on you, blood on you, or fucking Juggalo masks, like any fucking shit like that. I could pass on that shit. There has to be something more in depth besides this shtick going on. And you know, No Redeeming, Murphy's Law, they have little shtick with depth, you know? Stick with depth.
tell us about this Scarhead tune we just came out of, DFF. That's not a new song. I threw it in the playlist so that listeners could get a nice roundabout feel for your work. You know, now I didn't see you. What's that?
No, I was gonna say I appreciate that. Yep, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see you in the video for the song though, but you played on it. Isn't that correct?
Yes, I actually wrote the music for that one. And not the lyrics. That's Isaac with the lyrics, but I wrote a few of the tracks for the basically since like Kings of Crime. I recorded on the record too, but yeah, that's another story. You know what? You know, I do kind of move around, you know, musically. I hope I don't get labeled as like a flake, and like I could see like how, you know, some that I play with. You know, I don't think that exists because, like I said, I'm still playing with Jimmy and Murphy's Law, and still play with Isaac and Scarhead, and so I don't think that. But life, you know, dictates its own terms, and musically, you know, sometimes you got to follow your heart in like different paths. You know, I've definitely spread myself sometimes maybe a little too thin, you know, for my personal taste. And I never wanted to be like one of those dudes that's like, you know, like a band writer. Like, you know, some dudes, they play in like a bunch of different bands, and next thing they're like climbing their way to the top of like the band ladder. And like, that's definitely not my thing. Any of the groups I played with, I kind of put my heart and soul into, and you know, wrote music with, and you know, meant something to me, or else I wouldn't have done it. But I probably, you know, have a little bit of that you know, that flake label, and I probably can be a little bit flaky like that when truth be told, but I you know, sometimes when it's time for me to move on musically, you know, I've done a few things like that with that record, and even with the Murphy's Law record. Like, I'm not even on the album, you know, I don't get a credit on the album. My picture's not on it, but you know what? I know I played on it. I know I wrote for it, and that's like kind of enough for me. It was time to move on for me musically. So it's you know, I guess I do it for the love of it, not for like, you know, if it's time for me to split and not stick around, you know, I get off my ass and split, you know.
But for White Trash, that you've been involved in that since day one, correct?
Yeah, well, the band broke up for about 10 years, so that also existed with that band. I mean, that's the, you know, the biggest example actually of that scenario for me. I mean, you know, at the whole time we were kind of all not getting along with Dave, our singer, so the whole band left, and he put out a second album with all different band members. One of them, which is the guitar player that played on the last record, Suburban Purgatory. He's a guy that was kind of in our musical, you know, family. So with all these situations, there's never been, you know, bad blood or bad feelings, but basically there's been, you know, career suicide, definitely a little bit. Like, you know, just to put it out there, like White Trash had a $400,000 record. At the time, we had a 2-record deal with Elektra Records, and you know, I turned that shit down just to fucking move on musically because my heart wasn't in it, because we were not, you know, getting along at the time. There's a lot of other reasons. Our management, like, probably should have pulled us together and And we were young kids. We were like, fuck this, we'll fucking make a record over here, do it ourselves instead. And that's where I'm at now. I guess we're putting out records, doing it ourselves instead of with labels behind us. But you know what? I could definitely say I look in the mirror, and I'm proud of what I've done and who I am. And of course, it would have been nice to get a $400,000 record advance, 20 years ago, but it didn't work out that way. And as crazy as it might sound, I don't know if I'd say I'm glad I did it, but looking back on it, I'm proud of myself for doing it because, it was time to move on. We weren't getting along musically. We probably, couldn't have written, co-created together the way that we are, 15 years down the road. So, that's just the way life worked out. Now we're back together without a big label, without a big budget, making records on our own, sharing files back and forth within the band. And in a way, it's kind of bonded the remaining members of the band back together, which is, on a friendship level and on a real life level is kind of the most important thing. So, definitely that's my home base. That's where I grew up, writing. And we, like I said, we all went to school. We were all like best buddies in, or buddies, if not best buddies in high school. So it goes back a long way. That's really where my history is with White Trash.
Absolutely. So let me where we at? Get some into some. Oh, I wanted to ask you really quick. With Scarhead though, that Scarhead song, you said you wrote that song. You wrote the music for it.
Yeah.
But I
was going to say, sorry to interrupt you real quick. I actually originally wrote that riff for Jimmy when we were recording the Party's Over record. So that was almost a Murphy's Law song. And in all actuality, that was intended to be a Murphy's Law song. Probably nobody out there will ever know that. Well, maybe they will now. But
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they had enough songs for the record, and we didn't end up recording it. But and when we started doing that Scarhead record, Isaac asked me for some material, and I said, hey, I wrote this song from Murphy's Law back in the days. Take a listen. And he was like, yeah, let's use that, and then became Drink, Fuck, Fight.
Now, why is it drink, then fuck, then fight? Shouldn't it be drink, then fight, then fuck? Is it most of the aggression out of a person after sex? I mean, you drink and then fuck and then fight afterwards.
I think with Isaac, who wrote the lyrics, all three probably could go in any order. The song could have been FFD, FDD, DFD. So I think he values all of them pretty much equally.
Cool.
I don't want to speak on his behalf. Those are his lyrics.
So just going into some more news, man, with the announcements for the 2015 Emmy Awards, came word that True Trans with Laura Jane Grace, the 10-part AOL documentary series chronicling the Against Me's the Against Me front woman's struggle with coming out as a woman, has been nominated for News and Documentary Emmy and the New Approaches Arts, Lifestyle, Culture category. It's pretty nice how we're talking from one thing and then we just go right in now. It's the antithesis of it. It's the antithesis, but the actual awards themselves. The actual awards themselves will air live on ABC on September 20th, so stay tuned. I actually watched this entire series last night. As preparation, I'm doing the news here, so anyway.
My ass.
If you haven't seen it, you can find the link for it online on DianScene.com. Tone, you're currently transitioning into a human being, which is a step up from you. How does it feel not being a cockroach?
Well, you can tell me how it feels being an amoeba.
Maybe we could transition both our mohawks into one head of hair.
It is a possibility.
How about some more music, fellas? This track right here is from the UK punk act Science Made Us Robots, who have recently released their newest album, Paper Bones, and have made the entire album available to download, and you can find the link for that on DianScene.com. The band's most recent release, Rats and Swans, was released last year. This is Science Made Us Robots with their track Hopeless Attitude on Dying Scene Radio. Okay. So, almost done, man. This is the last segment.
Cool, man.
Last segment. So, we're just going to do a couple more. Wait, one more piece of news. It's not even really news. And then we're going to do the outro.
I could talk about myself all night, no problem.
Dude, I tell you, This is gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a funny one.
Cool, good.
Is it a funny? It's gonna be funny. It's gonna be good. I can't wait, man. All right, so let's just come back. That right there was the Spanish skate punk band Spin-Off, who have just released their newest work since their 2011 debut EP, Making Friends. The new album is entitled Olds Cool. Not Old School, Olds Cool. Okay? And it was just released. Just recently released a couple weeks ago or whatever. But the band has made the entire album available to stream, and you can find the link for that on DyingScene.com, of course. Hey, Aaron, where can we find this new White Trash record? So you said it's available for streaming. You said it's Reverb Nation and then WhiteOwlUniverse.com. Is that correct?
No, it's WhiteTrashUniverse.com.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
Let me do that again. WhiteTrashUniverse.com.
Yeah, it's all one word. And then it'll also be available on my production company's site, which is being updated at the moment, and that's GothamGoldMusic.com. Gotham, like, Batman, gold, like gold medal and music.
Absolutely. Now this guy, he's white trash, so he understands why I'm asking this. Now, how did you come up with the name White Trash?
That was back in the days. We used to perform as this is another crazy little tidbit. The original drummer at the time, it was always me, my brother on guitar, and Dave, our singer. We were kind of like the core members. We grew up across the street from each other, and we went through a bunch of different drummers. One of the original
we're in Queens.
It was Fresh Meadows, Queens, a little area in between Flushing and Jamaica. Fresh Meadows, Queens. We had a little apartment complex over there we all grew up in, and one of the very first drummers was Goat, who's now playing with the Misfits now. Just a crazy little side note. So he's been, my boy from like junior high school for years. But we came up with the name. We were playing as Wired. It's funny, even when we were little kids. I don't know why we call ourselves Wired back then. But the name was Wired for a while, and at one point we just switched it to White Trash. I believe Dave's father was the one who originally came up with the name, and we just liked it. We were like beer drinking kids, and we thought, although we weren't like hillbillies, we were kind of like Queens White Trash, and so it kind of fit us.
No, honestly, it fits me more. I'm from Florida, so it definitely does. And also Bob as well. I'll go ahead, even though he's not here, he's here with us in spirit, and I'll go ahead and lump him under that category also.
Yeah, but, I think we could all qualify for white trash category.
The last piece of news I have, it really isn't news at all. It's just a campaign, I guess. It's called Pass the Bass. Aaron, you're a super talented bass player, man. So
thank you, bro.
And you are too. You slap the bass, right? I mean, you get funky with it, man. Right?
I slap the bass.
You do slap the bass, man. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I
slap that shit like my bitch. No, I grew up. You know what? I really don't know where that came from. I think it's from. I would have to probably credit. You know what? My brother, who's again the original guitar player for White Trash, he grew up playing drums in the house. We grew up in like a musical family. My parents were like borderline like folk artsy folk singers. They played like coffee houses, like acoustic, Arlo Guthrie type, like Joan Baez type shit. So we grew up with
very interesting.
Yeah, we grew up with like guitars and a piano in the house. So we wanted to like beat on some shit. So my brother got a drum set, and my parents made me take like classical piano lessons when I was like 5 years old. And like by the age of like 9 or 10, my brother had picked up drum set, switched from drums to guitar. He was the older one. He's 5 years older than me. He was like, "Why don't you pick up a bass?" And we plugged in, and he was like, "Let's fucking start a rock band." We were listening to like metal at the time. We were like, "Fuck yeah, fuck this shit." Like fuck the classical music. Let's fucking plug in and play some live shit. And for some reason, I just started like playing like that. Like I guess I've always been interested in funk music, and later on I got into it. But I don't know. I don't know if he showed me some like slapping or whatever. But either way, I grew up kind of playing like that. And then in high school, I played until I got kicked out. I played in the jazz band for a second, and the jazz band teacher was a really cool dude. He had us like playing like some Herbie Hancock shit and like some funk bass shit. And he had these ringers. We were close to Jamaica, so he had like these like old school like dudes that had like graduated like high school already, but he had them come in like play with the jazz band. Like they were like pretty much straight up ringers. I don't know how he got them to come down and play, but they were like solid jazz cats. And I played trumpet and sax. So we kind of, vibed a little bit together, and I always kind of dug that music, which is why I, joined the jazz band in like high school or whatever. That was like my extracurricular, activity and shit. So so I did a lot of funk and like jazz, slap bass playing through that dude. He kind of put me onto it, and I guess it kind of stuck, after that.
Well, there's many onions. The onion. You can keep on peeling it with White Owl, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like speaking of the talented bass playing and all that stuff, I just figured you'd be interested in this story right here. And if people are interested in this, they can check out Facebook.com/PassTheBassDylan. It's a page that has been set up to help spread the word about Dylan Flynn, a 30-year-old from Columbus, Ohio, who started playing the bass when he was 15 years old. Basically, the long and short of it is that Dylan was in a serious auto accident, which significantly impacted him neurologically, making playing his bass more than just a struggle. So dealing with traumatic brain injury and not being able to play his bass guitar, Dylan has made it a goal to get his favorite bassists to play and sign his bass guitar. It was made to be played. I want to get some use out of it and can think of no better way, says Dylan, who has so far been able to get Joe Ginsberg, bassist of Chuck Reagan's band, and Chris Barker with Anti-Flag to both generously help him out. Nathan Maxwell of Flogging Molly has confirmed that he will be playing Dylan's bass when they come to Columbus in June. Dylan says he's keeping his fingers crossed for an opportunity to get Dan Adriano of Alkaline Trio to play it, who Dylan admits is his favorite bassist, and also Fat Mike of NoFX. If anybody out there can help Dylan out, let's pass the word along about his campaign, Facebook.com/PassTheBassDylan. He's a big fan of Millencolin, The Offspring, Dropkick Murphys, Rise Against, Greg Hensley with Diesel Boy, who unfortunately is no longer with the band, but who Dylan feels is still damn impressive. Matt Freeman from Rancid and Gavin Caswell from Census Fail. He says are amazing bassists as well. Well, we just so happen to be talking to an amazing bassist right now, man, Aaron White Owl. Like we were just saying, about how you grew up. That's amazing. About your folk singing parents who got you into playing classical piano. What do you think about this campaign, man? The traumatic brain injury rendering him unable to play his bass. Yeah, that would totally suck, huh?
That would totally suck. First of all, much respect and my heartfelt wishes to Dylan. If you want to send anything over to me on Facebook or something like that, where I could post something up. I don't know. Like you said, there was. I guess he just is looking for signatures on the bass. But if there's any way to help out, obviously, would love in any way to help out with that. But yeah, man, that would suck. God bless the kid. I have a lot to say, but when it comes to shit like that, I'm pretty much speechless, man. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Just keep hanging in there, dude.
Yeah, well, he name dropped a bunch of talented bassists right there. Do you look up to who do you look up to as a bassist?
You know what? It's pretty funny. Matt Freeman's one of the guys you mentioned. That's definitely a great player. Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, of course. I kind of grew up but I would have to say, honestly, that maybe the way I just described, even playing through those jazz band stuff, I kind of more important to me is songwriting and being creative with it. So more of my love for music comes out through through writing and creating, not so much playing the bass. But I look up to a whole ton of players. I'd probably say Flea is the one that most similar to grew up playing, play similar to it.
How did I know he was gonna say Flea?
Yeah.
Flea's the man.
But yeah, bass playing to me isn't like, even though it's my gig, like when I listen to a band, the bass player could suck, and as long as the music is good, then I respect it and appreciate it,
Yeah, but the bass is just like that extra thing on top, right? I mean,
you know what? I was saying that.
You know what? I love the bass guitar, bro. I played bass when I was young. That's what I played. So.
I'm definitely not like a music geek like that. Like I appreciate any great players, but I'm not like to me I'll take a good song over a good good bass solo or something like that.
Yeah, man. But to back it up, it just fills up the music,
No doubt.
Hey, will you take us out, man? Will you take us out? You think you could introduce the next song? Huh?
Sure. What's the next song?
Let me do this. Let me just read that. Can you read that right there into the microphone?
Think so. Here we go. We're gonna go out with this track right here from South Coast UK metal punk act. I lost it.
Almeida.
It came off. I lost the whole thing.
Oh shit! All right, let me. I'll send it on Facebook.
Should I switch over to Facebook?
I'll send it to Facebook right now.
Okay, here we go. Did I lose you?
Nope. Just do it again.
I'll just do the audio?
Almeida. Almeida is the name of the band.
All right, so you ready from the top?
You can do it from Almeida if you want to, or do it from the top. Do it again. Do it.
I'll do it from the top. All right, we're going to go out with this track right here from South Coast UK metal punk act Almeida, who's streaming their brand new EP, Social Media Circus, in its entirety on DyingScene.com. The album was released last weekend through Lockjaw Records. This is Almeida with Payday on Dying Scene Radio.
Sweet. All right, now
I think I lost you visually though.
It's all good. You're right. It's fine, dude. It's awesome. Now listen, before you go, really quick, before you turn anything off, I want you to give us a station ID. Say, yo, this is White Owl with, say all the bands or whatever. Do whatever you want. Say whatever you want. Identify however you want, and then just say you're listening to Dying Scene Radio.
All right. Are you ready for it?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is White Owl from White Trash, Murphy's Law, Scarhead, all the fucking motherfucking bands in New York. Giving you a shot and telling you you're listening to DyingSceneRadio.com.
Just say Dying Scene Radio.
Dying Scene Radio.
Awesome. Perfect.
Great job.
So now we can just stop.
Yeah. And you know what? Before also, I was gonna ask you how we can post this on our White Trash page and or on Facebook.
I can give you. I'll give you the codes.
Okay.
So
cool.
You can embed it. I'll give you the embed code.
Hold on 1 second. Be done in 2 minutes.
Yeah, we're done 100%. We're done now.
Sorry, I was just talking to my girlfriend for a second.
Okay.
So yeah. I'm sorry. So what were you saying?
So we're done. We're good. I'll give you the embed codes on Friday. On Friday, I'm gonna send you. This is a DIY thing, right? So it's cross promotion. So we're gonna do the thing on DyingScene.com. We're gonna post the article, post the podcast. And then we're going to give you all the information. You can have whatever embed code if you want for the website or whatever. Just let me know and I'll get it to you. Okay?
I have one major issue. I just see it right now. At some point, it looks like the audio clicked off over here. Hold on a second.
It was fantastic, too.
Yeah, it was.
That sucks. It stopped at some point. I have no idea where it stopped. It looks like it stopped. It said it was running out of power or something. Shit. I was gonna double do it with the phone, and I didn't do that also.
Well, actually, this is recording.
Okay.
I actually have all the audio on here as a backup.
All right. So what should I do? Just send you what I got. I hope it.
Yeah. Send me what you got.
All right. That would suck, man.
Yeah.
Well, I checked it the last time because it was behind me, so I turned around like at least halfway through, and it was still running. So we probably got most of it.
All right, send it over.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And then send